came to be associated with Halloween and creepy stuff. Does anyone here in the audience know? Was it used in a movie or something? But everyone associates this last piece on the program with Halloween. But I told a story today in church that I visited Eisenach, Germany in 1997, which is the town where J.S. Bach was born. It's in the former East Germany, but now it's integrated. But from that town, you can see the church where Luther nailed his 95 Theses. It's right across the valley there, and it's a beautiful rural area there in Germany. It's just gorgeous. So I'll never forget that experience, being in that area and drinking in all of that culture. Because J.S. Bach and Luther, like I said to Pastor Charles earlier today, they did a little something for the church, don't you think? Those two. So, but that being said, I think I'll just plunge right into today's program, and I'm going to start by getting into it with an improvised prelude, which is the sort of thing that would have commenced an organ recital in the old days. And I'll tell a quick little story before I start, is that there was an old organist at the time that Bach was alive. Now, Bach lived from 1685 to 1750, and his name was Reinken, and he was an old German predecessor of Bach, and he happened to hear the young Bach improvise at the organ one time at a church, and he said, "You know, young man, I thought this art was dead, but I see that in you it still lives." So I'd like to hopefully carry on a little bit of that living tradition by beginning today's concert, and then I'll proceed seamlessly from the prelude into the second work on the program, which is Bach's prelude on "If Thou But Trust in God to Guide Thee." This will help the cause of being heard, all right? So these pieces are called chorale preludes. What they are is the chorale melody is buried in the texture of the music, and it's embellished with all these different counterpoint around it. So in this case, the melody was played in the pedals. However, with a registration to make it the sound higher, so what you were hearing is the bass was played in the left hand, and then the pedal line was playing an alto voice. So even though the pedal part generally plays the bass line, that's not always the case. Sometimes it solos out the melody, as they say in the organ. That being said, I'm going to play an improvisation on another beautiful and favorite hymn of mine, Let All Mortal Flesh Keep Silence, the tune known as Picardy. And this is a French hymn, and a little departure from the German lands here.
so used to talking without the mic. You know, my first two initials are MC, so I should feel comfortable with the mic in my hands, all right? MC Ganon. So the next one I'm going to play is not written per se for the organ, however, within the collection by Bach called the Well-Tempered Clavier, which consists of preludes and fugues in all major and minor keys. And this is something that he did twice over. So there's book 1 and book 2, and each book goes through the complete cycle of keys. Well, this one in C minor has the spirit of an organ piece, and it lends itself very well to that. And I wanted to favor music in a minor key today, being that it's Halloween and the fall and the leaves are falling, and it lends that wonderful mood. And we got the nice chilly air and everything. I mean, we couldn't have asked for a better Halloween. So please enjoy the Prelude and Fugue in C minor by J.S. Bach. thank you. You know, that one has that fugue is cool because the theme gets stacked on top of itself even before it's finished playing in one part. It comes in the other part. And then when you heard it in the pedals, it was twice as slow as in the initial times. So that device is called augmentation, when the theme is done twice as slow, so it's stretched out over a longer period of time. Well, this style of program I like to do, which features the work of one great composer back and forth with the music by other composers. So this concert is a dialogue with Johann Sebastian Bach. But that being said, I'm going to play a couple of pieces here in the next set by the composers William Byrd and William Bolcom. And for this set, I'm going to move to the piano. So the next piece on the program is called The Ghost, and it's by William Byrd. This is from a collection called the Fitzwilliam Book of Virginal Music. It's a tremendous volume. This is just volume 2. Volume 1 is just as thick. And it is a treasure trove of music from the Elizabethan era. William Byrd remained Catholic even during the Protestant Reformation in England, even though the Catholics were persecuted by the English royalty. Byrd was such a fine musician that Queen Elizabeth decided just to leave him alone and let him do his thing. So, fortunately, that she did that. And, you know, I get the impression that this time period was kind of a golden age in the culture of England because it had Shakespeare, it had Byrd, and there was a mood in those times. You know, the creative arts were so alive. And one of the creative arts which is coming to life in that time was the development of music for the keyboard in particular. So these English composers like Byrd did a lot to further the cause of the keyboard. And the instrument that they were using was called a virginal. It's really very similar to the harpsichord, same principle. It's a plucked string keyboard instrument. But the music lends itself beautifully to the modern piano. So for this next set, I'm going to move to the piano and play first The Ghost by William Byrd. Now, I don't know if ghosts were more cheerful in Elizabethan times or what, but this one doesn't sound particularly melancholy. See what I mean? Rather exuberant little ghost that one is. All right, well, so the next piece I'm going to play again is from the Well-Tempered Clavier, and this is some more of that music and that wonderful dark mood that Bach was so good at. And you know, it's funny that even though Bach lived in the 1700s, a lot of his music really foreshadowed a lot of what they call this heavy metal or even psychedelic rock. You know, that because that kind of music couldn't exist without Bach's example. And you know, even though Bach was associated with the church and sacred music, he also had a flair for drama and the dramatic, which you'll hear especially in the last work on this program. But anyway, the next work is the Prelude and Fugue in D minor from Well-Tempered Clavier, Book 2. In a way, these pieces, even though they're written for the lowly piano or a keyboard that's not as, as grand or amplified as the organ, these pieces still have a great deal of weight and gravity to them, just because of of their character. Well, the next piece on this program is maybe the oddball in the set, and it's quite different in style from everything else I've been playing. It's called The Graceful Ghost Rag by William Bolcom. And William Bolcom is a very well-known American composer who's been in the forefront of the ragtime revival, and he himself is a very fine pianist. And I remember when I used to live in Chicago, I had been out all day running around the city, and had just gotten home, and I had the radio on in the car, and this piece came on, and I just found it captivating, magical little work called The Graceful Ghost Rag. So I ordered the music right after that, and I've been playing it ever since. And I like to get it out this time of year. And again, this is goes somewhat on the cheerful side, and we could say the graceful ghost is the Holy Ghost, right? The ghost of grace. Well, anyway, this piece I think is inspired by the Graceful Ghost. I just have to pull that one out on Halloween. This is too much fun. All right, guys. Well, here's the moment that you've all been waiting for, and if you haven't been waiting for it, I certainly have been. It's the Takata and Fugue in D minor, which has got to be the most famous piece of organ music ever composed, and also one of the very most famous pieces of classical music ever composed. Like I said, I don't have any idea how it became so famous, other than that it's just so distinctive, and every single part of it is so distinctive, and I think that's why it's just a completely inspired and dramatic piece. So, with that being said, let me go ahead and send you off with this wonderful masterpiece for the organ, the Takata and Fugue in D minor by J.S. Bach.